I'm back, and I'm in my new setup. I took a short break, and I'm back at work. Okay, so this video is going to be about hockey cards. I've got 3 boxes of my cards. They're back there. And I'm going to just reach in and grab some cards. Going to talk about them. And that's all right here at Talking Habs. Speaking of talking, the home of Habs hockey, where everything is dedicated to the Habs and all things hockey. And if you're a Habs fan and you want to see more videos like this, about the Habs and all in hockey, just head down there and subscribe. I'm rusty. I haven't made a video in a few days. Head down there, subscribe, ring that notifications bell, and that's going to get you your daily fix of Bleu Blanc Rouge right here at Talking Habs. Okay, so well, while you're on the way down to do that, if you like the video, give a thumbs up. And if you have any comments about the video, about anything I have to say about the players that I'm going to talk about, or anything else, do that in the comment section. Okay, so I have this box of cards here. The first one. Now you can see, I don't know if you can see that water stain? I had a fire in my apartment. It's 5 years now. This month. It was on the 10th of March, 5 years ago. And I had a lot of hockey cards. These are the ones that back here, these are ones I was able to save from that. From the aftermath of that. That's why the water stains, luckily enough, inside the boxes, cards are in good shape. Now, funny thing about this one, I wanted to this is the first box I picked up. I wanted to check to see what cards were in there. And so I just pulled out a card. And if anybody knows who my favorite hockey player is of all times, it is Guy Lafleur. And that's the card I pulled out from it. And the light's in the way. Guy Lafleur. First card. Oh, my finger's in the way. Guy Lafleur. That's, so I don't know if that's a good omen or what that is, but so we're going to, this is a box of, that's a big one too. I had a lot of these. O-Pee-Chee, regular. These are not the O-Pee-Chee Premier. The O-Pee-Chee Premier from this time was a really sought after card. They're worth nothing now. These are early 90s hockey cards. Early 90s hockey cards, they so overproduced them, they're not worth a lot. So we'll start out with that. And the writing, I just realized on the back, is so small. And this one, the Guy Lafleur card says, "Goodbye, Guy." Goodbye, Guy. And I imagine they go over his career, but that's so small, I cannot read that. So I'm not going to try. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pull out some cards from here. I don't know what cards they are. I'm just pulling out cards. And we're going to just talk about who I pulled out. Oh, this is interesting. So, a commentator on hockey. I don't know. I guess it's Sportsnet. Ray Ferraro, when he was with the Islanders. That's what he looked like in the day. At this point, he had played with the Whalers, and he had just had one season with the Islanders. 19 goals, 16 assists for 35 points. With the Whalers, his best season was 77 points. In 85-86 in 76 games. He had a 76-point season, and those were his career highs. Other than that, he was basically in the 50s and below. So that's Ray Ferraro. He went on to many more years than that. It's Ray Ferraro. Oh, Jeff Courtnall, interesting. Brother of one of my favorite Habs is Russ Courtnall, who I did put in a video about my favorite Habs, so I'm not making that up. That's his older brother, Jeff, playing at the time with the Canucks. He had 1 year with the Canucks, so he had played with the Bruins to start his career, the Oilers for a year, Capitals 2, and Blues 1, or part of 1, and they traded him to the Canucks probably around the trading deadline. Let's see, he was a good hockey player. He had 80 points, 74. Pretty good hockey player. I'm sure he went on to many more years. That's Jeff Courtnall. David Shaw. Don't know much about David Shaw. Bob Essenza. Decent goalie for the Jets back in the Jets, which became the... who did the Jets become? I don't even remember. I'm thinking now. It's not coming to me. Bob Essenza. His third season. Decent numbers. See his numbers. 370, 315, 315. They didn't keep save percentages in those days. And they didn't give his wins. Minutes, goals against, shutouts, games played, but not his wins total. And losses, wins, losses, ties. That's odd. Okay. A lot of Bob Esenzas. Oh, look at this here, Mark Tenorti. So that's Jared Tenorti's father. Jared Tenorti almost never didn't make it here as a defenseman. Young in his career, he had only had one season with the Rangers and 3 with the North Stars. Not a big scorer, 32 points in his 4th season, 90-91. What do they say about him? Standout defensive play made Mark a top candidate for the Conn Smythe Trophy during Stars playoff run. Very small writing, that's all I can read. Good defenseman here, Kevin Hatcher. I don't know why I keep putting my fingers over the name. Kevin Hatcher was a big guy, if I remember. I can't see. Yeah, big guy, 6'4". Played for the Capitals at this point all his career. Had 74 points the season before this. Good defenseman, right? I believe he was a defenseman. Yeah. Kevin Hatcher, yeah. Trevor Kidd, Daniel Bertone, Adam Creighton, decent player. Everett Sanapas. Ken Baumgartner. Let's look at Ken Baumgartner. Don't know a lot about Ken Baumgartner. Bomber is his nickname. Provides Isles with a physical presence for Tough Patrick division matchup. Means he was a goon. That's what that means. Yeah, his biggest season was 7 points in 78 games. Yeah. Ken Baumgartner. No, thank you. Sheldon Kennedy. Why do I think no? I'm thinking of somebody else named Sheldon, not him. Played with the Red Wings. He was only a second year. Yeah, Sheldon Kennedy, not big. Let's see. Had a lot of them. Usually the guys who aren't really good, you get a lot of their cards are just they're loaded in packs with them. Dave Capuano. Don Sweeney, a Bruin, and I believe Don Sweeney is now the GM or something like that with the Bruins. Here's a good player, Gary Roberts, when he was with Calgary. Doing it again. Gary Roberts was a good hockey player. This was his 5th season. He had 72 points in his 4th season. Valuable winger, compliments Makarov and Nieuwendyk by winning the puck on the boards and in traffic. Gary Roberts, yeah, a good, tough player, but he could score. He could get the points. This guy was pretty good. I don't know. Let me know what you think. This guy was pretty good, I think. What do you think? Wayne Gretzky, when he was with the Kings. Gretzky with the Kings, his 3rd year, had 153 points the season before. Gretzky, 212 points. Isn't that crazy? 215 points. It's just insane the number of points Wayne Gretzky got. Wayne Gretzky, I mean, what's there to say that people don't know about Wayne Gretzky, right? League leaders, Theo Fleury, Marty McSorley, plus minus. So that's plus minus league leaders. Oh, yeah, they're up and down. Let's see what they had. Theo had plus 48 with McSorley. Same thing, obviously. McInnes plus 42. Roenick plus 38. Larmer, that's Steve Larmer, plus 37. Ray Bourque plus 33. Gretzky plus 30. Jamie McCowan, the Flames, plus 29. Luc Robitaille plus 28. 4 were tied with plus 27. Good numbers. Ulf Samuelsson. I'm not sure if it was Ulf or Shell. One of those two, they like to take out knees. Okay, let me get through these, see if there's any. Mike Krushelnyski's. Funny thing is, this guy here played with the Leafs. My ex-wife, she had his brother's baseball glove. He used to live in NDG, I believe. Padaleniuk, Michelle Pavanka, Philadelphia Flyers. Don't know what they did. Can't tell. Denny Savard as a Canadian. We got a Montreal Canadian, which will end this set with that. Montreal Canadian, Denny Savard. After his 1st season here, he had 28 goals, 31 assists, 59 points in 70 games. Long career with the Blackhawks. Biggest season was 131 points. Not bad. Good hockey player. Should have drafted him instead of Chicago that year. But we didn't, and you can't cry over spilt milk. Give me a sec. I am going to get the next box. Next box. I think these are a bunch. You know what? I'm going to go with a different box because I'm running long. We might only get two. These, I believe, are Upper Deck from 91, 92. So we're going to reach in here, grab just a small handful, and see. We pulled out Bill Ranford to start. Bill Ranford, good goalie. Upper Deck didn't give much, so I can't really do much about stats. There's nothing on the back here. Printing is way too small for me. But Bill Ranford in his Team Canada jerseys. Now, wondering why they're all I pulled out. Oh, I pulled out a section where they're all from the. I'm going to pull out another section because I don't think this is going to be good to talk about. So I went from the middle. I'll go to the end. I should cut this out, right? I don't edit. Sorry, guys. Okay. Pulled out Garth Butcher, defenseman. Not really worth talking about. Garth Butcher, you might remember him. Phil Bourque, not related to Ray Bourque, no. I got a third line winger from what I remember. They're giving stats here. They're really small. Phil Bourque, points. Yeah, like a 40-pointer. He's a probably a third line player, if I remember. Lou Franchisetti, no. Oh, look at this, a checklist. These used to be, if you keep these are worth something, apparently. So it's a checklist. Of course, I marked. I wouldn't mark up a checklist, and I had two of them. And here, strangely enough, we're going to pull out, again, Ken Baumgartner. Ken Baumgartner really wanted to be in my video. We won't talk about him again. Peter Duris, don't remember a lot about him. Yuri Littell, Mark Potvin, Gary Nyland, Ivan Korivo, decent player. Sheldon Kennedy again. David Shaw again. That's odd. Vyacheslav Fetisov. Now, he wasn't a great Russian player, if I remember. See his numbers. Yeah, he got 42 points. A defenseman. Played, this was after 2 seasons with New Jersey. Vyacheslav Fetisov, if anybody remembers him. Boy, I picked a lousy section. Jamie McCown again. Where did I get his name? Curtis Lesession from, well, interesting in that Lesession is a Nordique, Quebec Nordique, so that was in the day when Nordiques were still around. He played 3 seasons with them at this point, and he had 13 points, was his highest in his first season with them. So not a big point getter, obviously. Mike Peluso, Brian Benning, Stu Grimson, a fighter. Stu Grimson, look at this guy. Guy was tough. Stu Grimson, you can see it in his face. Days of the Goons. We had a lot of goons in those days. Look at this, we get a Canadian after all. Last card I picked out is Brian Skrudlin. Brian Skrudlin, a good, good third liner. Had the record for the fastest goal in overtime in the playoffs at 8 seconds, I believe. I don't remember what season. 42 points, his highest here. He went on to be an original, I want to say, Florida Panther, and be maybe the first captain of the Panthers, be a captain of the Panthers, something like that. Yeah, so there you go. That's that deck. We'll go and take a look into the other ones and go another few minutes. Let me see. Just something to do. My first video back after taking a few days off. I thought I'd just ease into it with hockey cards, because hockey cards can be fun. Here's an Upper Deck McDonald's Ray Bourque from, I'm going to say 91. 91, 92 anyway, one of those 2 years. Ray Bourque, great defenseman for Boston. So these I pulled are all, well, I guess they're all McDonald's cards from the day. Doug Gilmour. So this was from the All-Star. So the NHL All-Star Upper Deck McDonald's cards. Dougie Gilmour, great hockey player. Played here in Montreal for a couple seasons. Played in Toronto. Phil Housley, good defenseman. I hear he was a bit of a jerk, but he was a good defenseman. Brett Hull. We all know about Brett Hull. Scored that. Didn't he score the goal in a toe in the crease goal for Dallas when they won the Cup in '99. Famously drunk at the last, was it draft or something? He was drunk. He was drunk. Jari Kurri, really good hockey player, I believe from Finland. Um, Great scorer. A lot of people don't give him enough, some people don't give him enough credit for being the goal scorer that he was because he played with Gretzky. And obviously, maybe his numbers were a little bit elevated because obviously he played with Gretzky, but good hockey player. Dave Manson, they call him Charlie, his nickname. He played here for a little bit of time, a couple of seasons. Had throat problems and he couldn't talk very well. Like a little bit like me, gravelly. Mike Modano, great American player, drafted he was drafted in '90 or '91, so he had to be pretty young here. Mike Modano, Gary Roberts, who I just showed in the other. See, these are starting to stick a little bit. Oh, not good. Not that they're going to be worth anything. Gary Roberts, an all-star at the time. Gary Roberts is a really good hockey player. Tough hockey player, too. Good, talented guy, and tough, too. Good combination. Jeremy Roenick, definitely a good goal scorer. Definitely a character. Next one, the great Steve Yzerman and his all-star uniform. Come on, the words out. Steve Duchesne, not related at all to Matt Duchesne, spelled differently anyway. Steve Duchesne, imagine an underrated defenseman because I don't think he was great defensively, but he could put up the points. Good power play quarterback. He put up points, but I don't think he was great. I remember he wasn't great defensively. Mike Gartner, great goal scorer. I think 600 career goals, right at the top of the all-time lists. I don't know who he was playing for at this point. Probably, could be Toronto, could be. Geez, he played for a few teams. I don't remember all the teams, but Mike Gardner was a really good goal scorer. Al Iafrate, always challenged. If he didn't have the hardest shot in the league, it was Al McInnes. If I'm correct, Al Iafrate had one of those hard shots where he was always, in the All-Star games here when they had the competitions, he was in there. Great hockey player and longevity-wise as well, Jaromir Jagr. Jagr also drafted 90 or 91. I had his rookie card. I do somewhere. Here's a guy I got to see. I'll go another few minutes. At 16 years old, playing for the Montreal junior team, I don't remember, the QMJHL, is Pat LaFontaine. Saw him play at 16 in Verdun. A great hockey player. Was really great at junior. Was a good game. I think he scored like 3 goals that game. Yeah, the only time I think I ever saw a QMJHL game, and it was to go see Pat LaFontaine. Alexander Mogilny, 76 goals one season. I think his rookie season, maybe his rookie season. If not, it was early in his career. 76 goals, great hockey player. I think he came here back in the days when they had to defect to come play in the NHL. I think that was back in these days. You had to defect. Alexander, it was a whole big thing when Mogilny came over. That's why I remember that. One of my favorite hockey players, Kirk Kirk Muller. Don't know that he's the greatest power play coach, but he was a hell of a hockey player, like a great hockey player. When I used to play some video games, we had, I think it was Sega Genesis, and we used to play, and my wife used to always love to take Muller, and she'd go Muller, and that sticks in my head. Kirk Muller, number 11 for Montreal, great captain of the New Jersey Devils when he was there, and just a great player. Here's a guy I used to take every year in the day in my fantasy pool. One of the greatest, if not, I guess one of the greatest passers in the game of all time, and that's Adam Oates. This guy, his points every day, every game, 1, 2, 3. This guy, I don't know how many points. They're not giving you this is for McDonald's for the All-Star. They're not giving. Adam Oates was a great passer with Hull, with Cam Neely. I believe he was passing the puck to Cam Neely when Neely got 50 goals in 49 games, I want to say, or it was 49 goals in 50 games, something like that. And it was the only games he played. He only played those 49 or 50 games, and he got that many goals. And Adam Oates, passed him the puck for almost all of them. Another ex-Montreal Canadian, Mark Recchi, really good hockey player. Came over in the John LeClaire, Eric Desjardins, Gilbert Dion. Can't remember. I think there was another guy in that trade for Mark Recchi. Remember one year everybody was sick. He was playing with pneumonia, he had a lot of injuries. Koivu was sick. He was playing with pneumonia until he had to finally stop. Guy had a lot of drive, a big heart. Just didn't like when he was playing with Boston to end his career. Greatest goalie for me in Habs history, and maybe the best money goalie in the game, Patrick Roy. Joe Sakic, GM of the Colorado Avalanche. Back then he was probably I would think he was a Quebec Nordique still, and they hadn't gone to Colorado. Kevin Stevens, great hockey player, fell on his face, I think, from a check or something in a game. Was never the same player after. Kevin Stevens, though, was a good goal scorer with Mario Lemieux for the Penguins. Scott Stevens hit like a bull. Scott Stevens, you did not want to get hit with your head down and get hit by this guy. He put a few guys out. Another ex-captain of Montreal for a very short-lived time here in Montreal, Pierre Turgeon. Good hockey player. Don't know he had the best attitude, and I think that's why they shipped him back out right away. He was here, I think, for less than 2 seasons, or 2 seasons and a little bit, something like that. They shipped him out pretty quickly, and I think it's because of his attitude was not the greatest. I don't really want to say that without, like, I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I remember. I think I'll go last but not least. We'll end with I think he's a Hall of Famer, Paul Coffey. Paul Coffey, great defenseman, but like Steve Duchesne, who I said earlier, not the greatest defensive defenseman, but boy, he could put up points. Boy, he could skate. Paul Coffey was such a fluid skater, a great skater, great point producer, and yeah, just a great guy to end off with. So that's my first video back in a while. I figured I'd go with hockey cards. My next video, look for it, is going to be a report card for the Habs on the season, because let's face it, the season's done. I don't even think we're going to get playoffs in. Hot take of this time of the year. That's my hot take. I don't think we're going to get playoffs in even. They canceled the Olympics for a year. They announced that today. So, yeah, it's getting worse as far as that part of it. That's my old cat meowing. And so, yeah, I'm going to do a report card and look for that. Thanks for watching. Video's over. Give a thumbs up if you like it. While you're on the way down there to do that, if you're a Habs fan and you want to see more videos like this from me at Talking Habs, subscribe and ring the notifications bell. It's going to get you your daily fix of Blue, Blanc, Rouge right here at Talking Habs. And leave any comments you may have in the comment section down below. I want to thank everybody. I'm in my new studio. Don't know if anybody noticed. It gives me a lot more. I've got a lot of different views I can do and all that stuff. So you'll see a lot of different looks. And thanks everybody for watching. Peace out. See you next video.